Hello everyone, it's me, Zoe Hill. So today I want to talk to you really about getting help if you feel like you're becoming more isolated, or if you feel like you are becoming more depressed for having fibromyalgia. When you get diagnosed with fibromyalgia, people say that accepting the diagnosis is one of the hardest things. I'm not sure it is. Well, it is obviously, because accepting that you have fibromyalgia is hard, but living with it is harder, because it's little things that you can't actually do, what it takes away from you. Like if you have children, you'll find that you're more bedridden than what you used to be, that you can't play with your children like what you used to do. It's silly little things like riding bikes. You can't do that anymore, or so much anymore. Even getting down on the floor to play board games with them. Fibromyalgia really does change your life. And I think that's one of the hardest things to get your head around. So accepting it is hard, but also living with it is hard. So I think when you accept it and you learn to pace yourself, and you learn these little tricks that you can do to help your life does get easier. But also allow yourself to grieve, really, because you're sort of going through life. You have children, you find a partner, you get married, everything's going great, and then all of a sudden you start getting these symptoms. In my case, it started with dizziness first, then I started with fatigue, and then this increasing pain started where my life just started changing. It may happen differently for you, but things really started to change for me, and my life started changing. And I think that people don't realise that the fatigue and the pain controls our life, and getting our heads around that ourselves, not just other people, because everything, when we sometimes we go to work and we come home and we start cooking, and then we do our homework with the children. I know I'm sort of talking about lives as though we have children. Some people don't. Obviously, I can only talk about my own life, but and then how that's changed. But sort of theoretically, your life is sort of going along swimmingly, and then all of a sudden it's changed. But we've got to get our heads around that as well. I know our partners do, but they're not irrelevant, but their sort of feelings at this point are irrelevant, because we have to get our heads around it ourselves. So when people talk about PTSD, it is sort of that same thing, because I know PTSD is when something happens to you, something significant, like a trauma. You then sort of have that significant thing to then deal with. But we almost have that, really, because our lives were great and now they're not. So we have to sort of almost kind of deal with that. So it affects us incredibly, not only our bodies but our minds, because where we were going out every day, go to work, or if you didn't work, maybe you would go meet people, or maybe you'd go do your shopping, something you would do every day. Now most of us are bedridden, or we're limited in our, where maybe before you'd go to the gym, now, or walks. Maybe you would cycle, maybe you would walk mountains, or run. Maybe you were a runner or a swimmer or something energetic. Now, they're limited. And for our lives to have such a dramatic change, it's taken so much away from us. And I don't think people actually realise that for us to get our heads around that, I know that, we still have to try and get on with our lives, we do. But it's a huge thing for us to try and deal with that. And also we have the pain, and doctors aren't the best at prescribing us pain medication or helping us. I know that they'll say to us, go do yoga or walking and things like that, which we do. I walk every day and I do yoga. But mentally, to get this into my head, that how my life has changed, it's hard. And I think we need to discuss this as groups. I have a group on Facebook, and I think we need to support each other more, and talk about this more, on how it actually does affect us, and how isolating it can be. These groups are important because it does take us back into some kind of society, because otherwise we'd just be on our own. We have our families come home in the evening after school, and work and so on, but some people may be alone all the time. So these groups are particularly important for them, just to talk, because talking is the best thing you can do. The worst thing you can do is get inside your head, and depression seeking in. Depression is one of the worst things. You can't fight depression, I don't believe, on your own. I think you do need to talk. And if you do feel depressed, please go to talk to someone and talk about it. Doctor, a friend, anybody. But that's just really all I wanted to say to you, really, was just that we know how you're feeling, and talking, if you are feeling that, if you're struggling with how you're feeling now, with once that you were fine and now you're not, I think you're quite okay to feel like that, because I think a lot of us are. And just really how much fibromyalgia really does take away from us. And I think you're all doing fantastic. I think every single one of us, what we deal with every day, we still get up and we still do everything. We're still fantastic mothers. I think we do feel very guilty when we shouldn't. We're poorly people. But we do still feel guilty because we can't get on the floor and play games with our children. But there are things we can do. And if you're on our group, we do talk about this quite often, on other things that you can do with your children. So they still do feel included. Like you can sit on the bed and play games. You can watch TV together. So you're still all together, but you're still not hurting yourself, but still doing things together, like colouring and things like that. Obviously, I'll go into more depth on our group, but I'm just not talking about that right now. I'm talking about, we do all understand that this fibromyalgia does take more things away from us than what other people realise. But anyway, it was lovely talking to you all today, and I will speak to you all soon. Take care. Bye-bye.